Welcome to our webinar of biometrics. Today we'll be talking about our complete biometrical solution. Let me go ahead and hide this here. All right, so welcome to Visionis Biometrics and Accessories for Security. So here we're going to talk about our three major types of biometric readers, as well as a brief overview of what they do, how they integrate with software, how do they work standalone, and so on and so forth, as well as discuss a little bit of what is biometrics, how does biometric work for access control. So a quick overview here of what is biometrics. Biometrics is an access control, is an identification system based on the physiological qualities of the user, but can also be based on the behavior of the user. It is a personal, non-transferable system. Within biometrics, as an access system, we can differentiate several types of recognition. Identification by fingerprint, facial, ocular, or vascular, among other types. Among these types, the biometric identification systems currently in existence is the most popular method, undoubtedly, access control by fingerprint. It is a method of identification enforced since 1883. The recognition of a user's fingerprint is considered one of the most reliable systems on the market. Therefore, it is the most developed among the biometric access control systems. In addition to the safety and precision it provides, it is the simplest, most effective, and most economical recognition of all. So working with a fingerprint, actually it is the easiest because when we do ocular identification or facial identification, a lot of things come into play, and it makes it a harder reading and a lot more costly. So working with a fingerprint, it is the easiest, is what we have readily available, easy to put out, it's our hands, and it is a more economic way of working with it. So inside of Visionis, the only type of biometric access control identification we have, it is fingerprints. We have two different types of fingerprints that we use. Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting. I just feel like we're having voice problems and some volume controls. If you can hear me, please type yes onto the text box. All right, so let's go ahead and let's continue, if everybody says that they're hearing. So talking about here is how biometrics will help your security. It offers a higher level of security to the facilities. Biometric access control is considered the safest system since it is based on the person's unique qualities. The fingerprint is non-transferable and unrepeatable characteristics in each person. So that's our first point. It is automatically going to increase the level of security. When we talk about access control by cards, a card can be lost, can be given to someone else, just as a code. However, a fingerprint is a non-transferable and unrepeatable characteristic. Therefore, only one person will have it, and only one person will be able to open it. It reduces maintenance cost. Once the system installation is complete, the biometric fingerprint access control has less maintenance compared to other identification systems. So for example, when we talk about a card reader, whenever we have to increase or add new people, we're going to have to add new cards. We will have to purchase these cards. So that includes an extra cost. When we talk about biometrics, we do not have cards. All we have is the person's fingerprint. Therefore, you do not have to buy anything extra, reducing your costs. As well as fingerprint readers have a market proof that they do last longer than card readers, just because of the way they are built. Fingerprint readers do not require any additional device to open the door. With a biometric access control, such as a fingerprint, the user does not need to use traditional keys, cards, or switches. Being based on the recognition of the unique characteristics of the person, dispenses with physical identification elements, so there's no risk of losing keys. Exactly what we mentioned before. I cannot transfer it to anybody else, so I cannot lose it. So biometrics has these three major points on how it helps your security. So now let's take a look at our fingerprint readers from Visionis. The first one that we're showing you here is the VIS 3015. This is a standalone system with Wigan output. It is completely metal built. It's very sleek design and fashion. It accepts up to 1,000 users. It's multi-usage, so it links other functions, so you can connect it to a controller, so on and so forth. It has a touch luminous button, so you can scan the fingerprint. It comes with an infrared remote, so you can add users and delete users. Very simple wiring. Effective fingerprint can be transformed into the machine or an ID number or virtual card number. It can be used with any kind of controller. It can be used with all kinds of electric locks, no need to change external wiring. Anti-tamper alarm function. So this is our 3015 fingerprint reader. Then we go into our VIS 3013. This is one of our best sellers and best products inside the Visionis line. As we have here, it's an all-in-one solution. It is a card reader. It is a fingerprint reader. It is a keypad. It does time and attendance. It is IP. It is weekend. It has RS-485 connection for modules. It has Wi-Fi. It has a USB exit. It can be connected into a panel. It can be worked as standalone. You can add another reader to it. It has internal memory of 3,000 users. It has the latest generation biometric optical scanner with speeds of less than 1 second to read. It is an autonomous system, as I mentioned. It supports another reader, and it goes with VS Access, which is Visionis access control software. Via this software, you can manage access control, CCTV, and intercoms in an integratable platform. So this machine can also use of this software to request all of the reports, live viewing of the system. You can do analytics relating it to cameras, so you can have an integration of a camera and a reader. It does everything. So let's take a look here at a little bit more characteristics of the 3013. So you can create specific permissions, such as restrain certain users for certain doors. You can open doors remotely. You can force open, you can force close. As I said again, it's Wi-Fi and also wired. It works with Microsoft only, no Macintosh. And time and attendance, you can do it through the machine itself or through the software. And on our left-hand side, I have a little bit more details on it. It does work with the standard 26 or 34-bit protocol for weekend. It has a maximum of 3,000 users. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, now try to.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and let's continue. Now we go into our VIS 3016. This is our USB fingerprint scanner. The purpose of this scanner is to add fingerprints locally at the computer or at the software and not have to do it at the machine itself. So the VIS 3016 fingerprint recorder supports the registration and identification of fingerprints for the VIS 3013 reader or controller. It can be connected to a computer directly through the USB interface and load characteristic data of fingerprint and images to the controller or module. It has a 588 DPI high definition reader. It supports the function of plug and play. All you have to do is just connect it to your USB output. Optical fingerprint sensor designed with scratch resistance material, so it's very durable. It works only with Windows systems. Supports configuration operation via client software. USB 2.0 communication. Power over USB, so you do not need external power. And it composites fingerprint images for triple collection. So you're going to place your fingerprint 3 times on it so it can clear out any variable and have a very good reading of that fingerprint. Now let's understand how fingerprint reading works, or how fingerprint scanning works. A fingerprint scanner system has 2 basic functions, so it has 2 basic jobs. It needs to get an image of your finger, and it needs to determine if that pattern of ridges and valleys on that image that it just got matches what it has been previously scanned. Only specific characteristics which are unique to each finger are filtered and saved as an encrypted biometric key or mathematical representation. Basically all it does is it stores that into a bit rate, into a virtual card number, which is represented by zeros or ones. So no image of a fingerprint is ever saved, only a series of numbers, a binary code, which is used for verification. The algorithm cannot be reconverted into an image, so no one can duplicate your fingerprints. This algorithm, it is encrypted and decrypted at the machine or software. So when we talk about fingerprints and we talk about biometrics, scanners, it's very important that the scanner and the reader use the same protocol or the same encryption. If the encryption is not the same, they will not read the same fingerprints exactly equally. And one might give you permission and one might not. So make sure whenever you're working with biometrics, everything, in other words, have to be of the same brand. So biometric authentication. Biometric authentication is a security process that relies on the unique biological characteristics of an individual to verify that he is who he says he is. Biometric authentication systems compares the biometric data captured to stored, confirmed authentic data in its database. If both samples of the biometric data match, authentication is confirmed. Typically, biometric authentication is used to manage access to a physical and digital resources, such as building, rooms, and computing devices. And at the bottom, we have what it shows of a basic graph of what is a fingerprint scanning. So you have the finger, it is scanned, key points are taken into a graph-like mode, then encrypted into a binary code. Any questions so far?
No, Bruno.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's proceed. So here we're going to talk about some basic applications for the 3013. So the 3013 is an IP45. Recently, our newest models are IP54. Anyways, it is rainproof, but it cannot be directly contact with water. So it is mostly used for indoors applications. If it is to be installed outdoors, it needs to be under an awning or it needs to be under some sort of cover. It cannot be exposed to direct sunlight or direct water. On the other hand, when we jump to the 3015, we see that its ingress protocol, or ingress protection, I'm sorry, it is of 66. So it can be submerged in water and it can be submerged in dust and no problem up to it. It works with a standard 26-bit protocol, weekend, and it's all metal shield design, and here we have a little bit of the dimensions that it carries. When we're talking about our panels, if you want to connect anything to our panel, as a biometric reader, we will have to work with the Deluxe series, which we offer in a 2-door and a 4-door setting. And here we have a little topology of it and some features and specifications. So the basic features of it is that I have an uplink of RS-45. I have Wiegand and RS-45 downlink. I have advanced access control functions. I have abundant event linkage, so I can link a camera to a reader. I have alarms, and I have tamper-proof. My basic specifications is that I can support up to 100,000 cards with an expansion module to another 200. I can support up to 300,000 events or an expansion module up to 600,000 events. It's CE and FCC certified. The configuration for basic topology is I have biometric readers and regular EM Wiegand readers connected to the panel with their respective doors and locks connected into a software where I have my VIS 3016 as a fingerprint scanner to scan it in, and I have another 3013 as a reader for an external door. Any questions so far?
No, Bruno, no question.
All right, so a little bit more of an overview of what is our VS Access software. The VS Access software can be used to manage and control the VIS 3013, as well as the panel that we just saw here. This allows you to have a central access control and monitor station with an autonomous system, able to generate attendance report as well as use cards or fingerprints, door status, alarms, and other records and reports, integrations with CCTV and intercoms. Proximity cards and key tags. The VIS proxy card, we have it in the 26-bit, and we also have a key tag that is 26 and 34-bit. We also offer a combo card, which is an EM MyFair combo card. Any questions here?
No, Bruno.
And this around sums up our webinar for today. So I would like to appreciate all of you that were able to be present today, to take your time and listen to this webinar. I put myself available if you have any further questions or comments. Please feel free to contact me. My extension is 9108, and my email is bmai@full-protection.com. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Have a beautiful day.